order. And it looks like the invocation is going to be given by Commissioner Perry, and then the pledge is given by Human Resource Manager Jenica Standard.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we come before this time grateful for the blessings that Thou hast blessed us with, for the moisture we've received, for the blessings we have to live here in this country and in this county. And we ask Thee to please bless and watch over those who reside here and who recreate and who come here, that they'll be protected, and that the people who work and keep this county running will be able to be protected and be able to be helped in the things that they do. We ask that Thy Spirit guide and directs us this day as we take care of the people's business. And we ask for these favors and blessings and say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody, for participating with that. I always love that we're able to still do that, even though our school kids can't. So it's good for us to be able to remember where we're at. I'll entertain, you guys had a chance to look at the minutes, approval of minutes from July 5th.
Yeah, I've read the minutes. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor?
Aye.
Administrative review reports, future agenda items. It looks like 11:39 is off and 12:09 has come off the agenda so far, so.
Okay, I have a small report if you're ready
Yeah,
for me.
Yep.
So in June, there was a group put together called the Growing Water Smart Committee that met in Cache Valley for like 3 days, if I remember right. Scott, you attended that, right? And I was out of town and wasn't able to attend, but they have put together a local group. And we met just a week or so ago, and in that process, we were talking about this countywide master water plan, and there was a lot of talk about ideas and how to approach it. And so what I did was I recommended to that group that they send someone to get on the agenda and come here and make the presentation to the commission that way. And sounded like they were going to shoot for the second meeting in August, if I remember right.
That was my understanding as well.
Pardon me?
That was my understanding.
Okay. So,
Okay. Well, that's a hot topic. Thanks for taking care of that. Sounds like we're on our good way of being able to hopefully get something together for that. Lee, do you got anything?
Nothing other than what we talked about just for the next meeting.
Okay.
So,
I was just going to say, this last week I was reading through KSL, and I noticed that they said that 78 municipalities, counties, and other things, districts, are going to raise taxes this year. And most of the reason is because of inflation. Everybody's been hurt by inflation. Everybody goes to the pump, the grocery store, everything. So, and the biggest problem is right now that we're having is probably, Cade and Sheriff brought it up, is staffing. It seems like we're borrowing and begging from every place to be able to staff our sheriff's department, but everybody's in the same boat. And that's a problem. I have a feeling we'll be getting a lot of people from California after they pass the law, basically that they're not going to put misdemeanors in jail anymore. So I have a feeling our growth rate's going to be even more. So if you got any friends, relatives, anybody that's looking into coming into maybe law enforcement or EMS or things like that, right now would be a great time to come join our forces, and so we can continue to be safe. And I think the thing about the tax problem is everybody gets to the point where we have scrimped and scraped, and then eventually we have to do what we have to do to be able to keep the county in business. So I'm hoping we can continue we haven't had to raise taxes since I've been here in a decade, so I'd want to leave it with like that. So so you're good with everything? Okay. All right. Emergency management issues. I don't see Kevin here.
Mark, it doesn't have anything to pass on.
Okay. I know they had a couple lightning strikes the last couple days. Haven't started any fires anywhere yet. but we're just looking for that, I'm afraid. Charlene, ARPA, LATC, VS, EIEIO. You're just waiting for a budget. We're gonna do something with the budget.
Yeah, I don't know how you wanna put through the budget on the LATCF, but we
Okay,
do a public, meeting.
okay. I'd say let's do something the 1st of August. I do know that there's some things like the monument out here, we need to look and see how we're gonna fund the rest of it. The missing man monument, and a couple of other things. So we probably ought to take a look. I do know that you're looking with Jenica to see what we can do with some ARPA funds. So whatever's left. Okay. The Box Elder County Employee Recognition, Lee?
Yeah. Okay, so again, each month we try to recognize a county employee, and the best part is these recommendations come from the public, but they also come from our fellow employees, recognize them. And this month, the person who's nominated, the nomination did not come from within their department for them. It came from outside the department, from 2 different departments recognizing this individual. So I'm going to read them, and then we'll have her come up. So our employee of the month is Natalie Brown, and I'll read these 2 things. We'll have her come up in just a second here. First one was, it came in, it says, I want to nominate our part-time custodian, Natalie Brown. She has gone above and beyond cleaning up after all of us. She was called in to help clean when another custodian needed some time off for family matters. She has also been called in to do a little extra scrubbing power that needed to be done. She came in with such a cheerful attitude and was so happy to help pitch in to get things back up to where they needed to be. When I talked to her, she just smiled and said, I love to clean and I don't mind the mess. Seriously, what would we do without our custodians who get overlooked every day and, in my opinion, have one of the, and I won't say what she said here, but one of the crappiest jobs of all. Anyway, you can just put in what you think she wrote there. It's one of those, it's a farm word that we won't say in the meeting today. But anyway,
Hey, careful now.
I was gonna say, I'm sure
it
I'll
is a
say.
farm word.
Yeah.
It comes out of the cows, it comes out of the horses, anyway. And then the second one came in, we had a second recommendation again for Natalie, and it said from the IT department, and they said the IT department would like to nominate Natalie Brown. In our 20-plus years working for the county, we struggled to recall a custodian that was as good as Natalie Brown is. She has consistently gone far above our expectations, and we truly appreciate her attention to detail and work ethic. We produce a ton of garbage in boxes and packing materials from all equipment, deliveries, and Natalie always clears everything out for us every day. Our office entrance is via an outdoor stairwell, and Natalie keeps the area free of debris. That's going above and beyond. As a department, we have recognized Natalie and would be excited to see her recognized by the whole organization. We truly appreciate her. And that came from the IT department. So with that, Natalie, can we have you come forward here?
That's awesome. You should have made sure you wanted to have your picture taken.
Up here. You gotta come up here in front.
Yes,
No, you gotta come right up here. Right in between us. And then when you have a zoom, tell you what you get out of this.
Okay, I don't see my
But that's not as cool as what. Okay, and these are the letters. And then when you're ready, you get with one of us commissioners or with your boss and tell us where you want to go to dinner or to, lunch, breakfast, dinner, and you get to take all the other custodians with you. So you get to figure out when you guys want us, you want us to come bring you dinner before you go to work or after you go to work. You just come let us know, all right? We appreciate all you're doing, so.
We have to complain while you go.
Or yeah, maybe commissioners come in and you guys go to dinner. So. But anyway, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you so much.
I don't think this other public interest concerns and stuff, we've already taken care of all that, so we are going to get to our 11:38, and Dennis Paulson, if you want to, do you want to come up and say your name and speak into the mic? And I know who you are, but
Right.
many people might not.
Yeah, I hide out in Snowville. My name's Dennis Polson. The reason I'm here today is I don't want to take a lot of your time, but I've talked to the county road department, and they said that they have a policy, and I understand that the policy is that unless there's a house on the road, they don't dust guard.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that. but we travel up and down 36,400 west somewhere, and I'm not exaggerating, around 1,500 times during the summer. And we turn that road into a dust bowl. And I realize I'm making a special request by being here to visit with you guys and asking you to let the county road department come and put dust guard on that road. But part of the reason that I feel like I can make this request, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have a reason. For 40-plus years, I've been furnishing water, and I've never asked for $1 compensation, and I'm not gonna ask now, and I'm not gonna stop doing it, irregardless of what you guys decide to do. I got friends and neighbors out there in that fire department, we all count on them, and they've staged in my shop yard. I have fixed a faucet for them, or a ball valve, so they can fill their pump trucks, they can fill their tenders. They've staged in my stack yards down on section 17, because back when we had wheel lines, I had a riser right off the road, a quarter of a mile in. They could go in, and if they could hold on to the hose, they could fill those trucks pretty fast, because they're holding on to a 4-inch hose and turning that riser loose. And I've been doing this and will continue to do it. I just want you to know, I'm not here making threats or asking for compensation. I will tell you that in the last 10 years, my power bill's gone outrageous, and I'm paying $100,000 or $125,000 a year to Raft River to run those pumps. So it doesn't come free. But I'm willing to give it to this county because I appreciate the fact that they fight the fire. But it's kind of like the reason I felt like I had a legitimate reason to be here and make this request, because I've kind of been scratching everybody's back in this county for a long time. And I plan on continuing to do it, willing, health, God willing, you know. But I would like you to scratch mine on this still. Put some dust guard on that road so that when I take $300 hay up the road, it isn't getting covered with dust when I come from the bottom to the top. Just for one example, I got 2 pivots right on the south end of that road. I hauled 40 loads of hay off those 2 pivots and took them north up to the scales, weighed them, and I stacked them up there so I didn't have to go back down. But not all of it can be stacked up there. So
Right.
I'm up and down there with semis, and like I said, that was just first crop hay. And that doesn't count the tractors, the rakes, balers,
And everybody else coming
and
to and
everything
from.
else that goes up and down that road. So I would really appreciate it if you give some consideration to my request and understand why I'm here taking your time.
We
And I'm not
appreciate
gonna
you
take
coming
any
in from
more.
Snow. Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you.
When are we gonna be out there, Big D?
We've already been out there.
You've already been out there? So what will it take to do a special trip? To go do it?
You should have him come up here.
$5,000 or $6,000.
He needs to come up and talk in the mic.
Oh, come on up. You need to come up. Sorry. This is probably who you've been talking to, Dennis.
Well, actually, it's not. I've been talking to his underling because I know Tyler Wagstaff.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Darren McFarland, County Road Department.
okay.
We have some booked for August for the fairgrounds. That's all we have for the
Okay.
year, and that's all we had budgeted.
So if you could wait till August, maybe we can add some more.
Possible. I'll have
Okay.
to ask. They're pretty booked. I have to order the first week of
The
January, or I don't get it.
That's probably our biggest problem, is just like anything,
Yeah.
everything's out of stock. It's probably coming from China.
We can even put it off and do it next year. I mean, you know, next spring
Put it
when
on the
you're
plan
out
for
there
next
and you've
year.
got
Yeah,
everything
that might
out
not be a
there.
bad idea too. Let's see what he says he can do this year, Dennis, and then let's make sure that we get it on the plan at least for next year.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm all for that.
And let's not say fire anymore. We're not gonna have any fires this year.
I know, and trust me,
I know you know.
really want to bring that up.
Oh, I know you know.
I just needed you to know the reason that I felt
No.
like that I
We've
had
been
a
out there.
reason to be here.
I have been out there and
wouldn't be
watched
out
him do
here-
it.
I wouldn't be in here
Nope.
bugging you guys. You got way more important things to do.
No, I think that's just as important as anything else, so. And then I know crops don't grow well with a bunch of dust on them either, so.
So, anyway, but, and I do want you to understand, I'm not asking for compensation for the water, and I'm not telling you that I wouldn't give it to you, because
Right.
I'd just be a jerk if I did that. That's
Well, we
not who I
appreciate
am,
that.
and not what I'm about, but I just thought it maybe because of that, because there's not a house on the road, but because of my contribution to the county, maybe I felt like I could come and make that.
Are you guys okay with that? If we can't do it in August, Commissioner?
Yeah, I was just
Get it on the
curious,
first-
where do you get that brine? Is that is that just salt water? What is it?
Wow. Magnesium chloride.
Chloride, and it's special made at GSL.
Oh,
They're called bittering ponds. It's a lot.
Different than just salt.
It's what they use. UDOT uses some on their snow removal program, but, yeah, it's
And we're actually looking at that.
about 32%.
You don't know if UDOT would have any out there right now if we were to make a request of them, if one of their sheds out there had some that,
Left over, I doubt it.
Make it in their ponds,
do they?
but I don't know snow.
So how long is that road that we're talking about?
3 miles.
3
3 miles
miles.
in length? Okay.
Okay. So you okay with that, Lee, if we can't get it done in August, to put it on next year?
We probably just need to do it during the budget process as part
Yeah.
of the yeah.
Okay.
So we can vote on it and stuff, but
Sounds good.
obviously we
break
need to
that as part of
address
the
it.
for
budget
coming in.
process.
For your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis.
Oh, don't shake my hand. Everything's good.
Nice to meet
Okay.
you. Frank.
Okay.
Have
Thanks,
a
Mr.
safe trip,
Paulson.
Dennis.
11:39 is off. Sterling. I was wondering how come you were back there, just didn't go down the agenda far enough.
Good morning. Sterling Marks with the Box Elder County Children's Justice Center. Just here to talk about contract, the yearly contract with the state CJC program. See if you had any questions about it. And then basically I just
I
needed
don't.
John Hancock.
Oh, yeah.
You got anything, Lee?
No, I don't have any questions.
I don't either.
And you looked at it, Steve, and everything's good? Okay.
Okay, I'll have another, I think I mentioned it when I was here last month, but, so I've gone off of VOCA entirely, which is wonderful. So it's completely state funded, and then with the county as well. So that's a real benefit, when, you know Tracy, when Tracy goes to legislature and talks with them about budgets for the CJC program, when she's able to tell them that a county is contributing, because there are counties that don't contribute anything, and to be able to show that our county contributes to the program is really helpful. Helpful for legislators to see that there's county buy-in. So that's been really wonderful.
Well, don't take it personally. I wish you weren't around, but
Yeah.
this is one of those services that's, I hate to say it, is a needful thing in almost every county out there, so it's sad. If you guys haven't got any question, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the annual contract for the Children's Justice Center contract number 23-55.
I'll second it.
I got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor? Aye. Thank you for all your work.
You bet. I had a question for you.
Sure.
So I'm trying to, where I'm entirely on state CJC budget right now without VOCA, they're going to help with mental health services as well. So I have a couple of contracted therapists that I work with here in the county. So I'm trying to increase their wage a little bit to kind of keep up with.
Like I said,
Yeah.
like everything else, inflation.
They've been awesome to work with, but they've also been taking a real hit to take these cases that are they're challenging, and so I want to increase that. I've put the paperwork. I have to get approval through the state first to approve a higher rate, and then I'll just need a signature. I don't know if I need to come back. And
If the state's doing the whole thing, then probably not, but
Okay.
if we have to match it, then we'll have
Yeah.
to go through the budget
no,
system.
it'll be entirely.
I
on the
wouldn't think
state,
that
so-
we'd need to say anything, Steve, would you, if the state's gonna give them the complete amount through the contract? I don't think we need to do anything.
Okay, so I'll
So-
just need a signature saying, because I mean, the county, it's just like anything else from
Right.
the contract that the county
Okay.
pays and then the state reimburses, so.
Okay,
So if you guys have to sign it, then you probably need it on
yeah,
the
we'll have to get it on
agenda.
the
So we can
agenda
keep
so we
track
can
of
just,
it.
okay,
Okay, so when I get it back, I'll
let us know.
reach out.
Thank you.
I also just wanted to invite, where we have new commissioners, we could set up a time and you can come tour the center and see what it looks like and be helpful.
What did you have in mind?
Whenever, I just need to get it on the calendar, so I block out that time so we don't have interviews.
And it's just right here.
Yeah.
First,
So who should I reach out to? Maybe a couple dates?
yeah.
Just reach out to Chrissy and
Yeah.
have them forward it along to everybody. You know, I've been there too many times, so.
Yeah. All right.
If
Well, I
you want me to
appreciate your
come
time.
again and bring stuffed animals, let me know.
All right. Always welcome.
I know, thank you. Okay, looks like,
County Attorney's Office.
yeah. That's you.
It's Ryan.
Oh, sorry. You're just here? Well, I looked at it and said, I thought it said Ryan Starks, and I'm like, I don't see Ryan Starks in the room, but pretty close.
Close enough, right? It's
All
all
right.
good.
If you got paid like Ryan Starks,
Yeah,
you'd be happy.
you wouldn't be here.
He actually runs.
Maybe that's why I'm here, is to get paid like Ryan.
Maybe, yeah.
There you go.
Kind of the
You
Utah
just
Jazz thing.
need
so
to
you
talk
know.
into the mic and
My
tell
fault.
us who you are and what you're doing.
My name is Ryan Stats. I'm the agent with the County Attorney's Office Investigations Division. Every year, we have to re-up our memorandum of understanding with the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, which is run through the State Attorney General's Office and funded by Department of Justice. So we have to renew that. This year's the first year we've gotten it where we don't need the commissioner's signatures. We're just looking for an approval to have Steve sign it and get it back to the AG's office.
Cool.
So this is our, I don't know if you guys want some figures, statistics, kind of what we're looking at, or
It's always good, so
we actually,
public will know.
we actually almost doubled what we got last year. They gave us $9,000 this year, whereas last year we only got $4,000.
Oh, that's
Sorry, we
good.
got $5,000 last year, I apologize. So this year is a good year for us.
Good.
We were able to fund and organize buying a Cellbrite system for digital forensics for our whole county, just stationed at our office. So we're able to download cell phones for trials, crimes. We're able to break into cell phones, brute force them, and do all that stuff for individuals that don't want to cooperate.
Cool.
So I've been to school for that, and we've had all that. As of today, we've had 3 child victims rescued in Box Elder County from sexual abuse. And then we also had 1 extradition from Georgia for a case that was transferred to me from the sheriff's office that we're waiting on the case to go forward, who was extorting a child in Box Elder County. So Steve Berry was very helpful in getting him out here, and the county and the sheriff's office was a big help in helping us with that case. So
Okay. Well, so what do you want us to do? Just make a motion that's okay
Just
for you
renew
to
it.
sign?
I get one touch base on that Celebrate system that we have. That's a big deal. I don't know how many counties have it, but we've always had to rely on other counties for
yeah,
it.
we are probably the only county outside of Salt Lake that has Cellbrite Premium, where we can do additional downloads and crack into cell phones.
So when you have crimes committed against children, there's a lot of exploitation over the cell phones. And when we get those phones, we can break into those and get a lot of good evidence off of those. Every agency in the county participates in that. It's been a good cooperative effort for the county.
Yeah,
It's a great resource.
it's very expensive to keep every year.
Okay, so I guess we need a motion to say it's okay for Steve to sign this grant. Yep. So,
I'll make a motion that we approve the county attorney to sign the annual renewal of the Utah ICAC Task Force MOU. It's number 23-54.
Second?
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, and a second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for all your work.
So that's for Steve. Hey, thank you. Yep. Steve needs to sign that.
This is Steve's.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan.
We can't do this one until after we go into
RDA.
RDA, right? Is that what you're saying, Andy? Okay. 1203. Annie, have you got that one too?
on this one?
I think so.
Well,
Let's see.
No,
You're
but
doing 2 things at once.
I want to see you walk up here anyway.
So in the last legislative season, there were some changes to the state statutes, making it more clear that the county commissions need to have rules and procedures adopted. that basically outlines how the meetings run, how you and your positions handle different things. And so we've put together some standard rules and procedures that just outline a lot of what you already do. These new ones do include, I did add the prayer policy that you are already following, and then we included the public comment option. So that is in there, that if it is approved as is, would trigger for the next meeting. And then it also, along with the policy that was already approved for electronic meetings, meets the state requirements for the electronic meeting attendance, so.
Okay.
I'd make a motion, we adopt Resolution 2306.
Second?
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Get that one? Is this next one, 2007?
That's the one after.
And this looks like Commissioner Perry.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna back up and give you just a little information about the county. Long before my term in the county commission, there was a period of time when Box Elder County went into, with Deweyville, Honeyville, and Bear River, a central Box Elder Fire District. Somewhere during the time that it became the central Box Elder Fire District, our former county fire marshal acquired at least one fire truck and maybe acquired a second one through, apparently Park Valley had one. I don't know if it was ours or if they gave it to us. I don't remember exactly how it all happened. But we ended up with two fire trucks that are not brush trucks. These are what they would consider building fire trucks. These are the kind of fire trucks that come out of the stations that respond to our house fires, those kind of things. One is a 93 from 1993, and the other one is 2004. These fire trucks is dealing with Central Box Elder Fire District, talking to them. They're older in make, and what happened for some reason, they bought them, the county fire marshal got them, and then he titled them in Box Elder County's name. So as a part of the as part of the Central Fire District, what occurs is Box Elder County, we have to pay a housetop fee for every housetop that's an unincorporated Box Elder County resident within that district, along with Honeyville does the same, and so does Deweyville, and so does Bear River City. But the additional burden upon Box Elder County was, because those fire trucks are in our name as a county, every time they break down, anything goes wrong with them, Central Box Elder District doesn't pay to have them repaired, Box Elder County pays to have them repaired. So we're adding an additional burden upon Box Elder County every time something happens in that district, that Box Elder County is having to pick up an extra additional cost, including right now, one of those trucks has got some repairs. It's probably somewhere in the neighborhood between $12,000 and $18,000 that we as a county would have to pay to have that vehicle repaired, because those vehicles are titled in Box Elder County's name. Having that in mind, I know there's a policy that says all vehicles that are in Box Elder County's name should go into surplus to be sold if we decide we don't want to keep them in our name anymore. The problem I have with that is if we do that, we sell them, all that does is exacerbate the problem for the Central District and for fire services as well, and we're not going to make enough money off them of what we would have to get out of the general fund, and the Central District's just going to come right back to the county and say, hey, we need money to buy two more trucks to provide the services that you need us to provide for the people who want that fire protection. So I worked with our county attorney's office. We came up with a resolution that basically talks about the fact that in the best interest of the county, these are county citizens will be served by these fire trucks continually. The only difference is now the people who are using the trucks, which is the Central District, will pay for the repairs, because we will transfer the title of these two trucks over to that Central District, and then they will pay for the repairs and the maintenance on those vehicles and keep those vehicles. If you were to go out on a market, you probably couldn't even buy these vehicles for fire trucks right now, because most fire services don't allow vehicles that are less than 20 years old to be in service as fire trucks. And so it's really difficult to buy old used fire trucks. So if we did go to surplus, these would be bought by a collector, not by a fire department. So there's not a lot of value that way. The biggest value we have is to keep them in the fire district and allow that fire district to continue to use those vehicles as appropriately designed, where they can support not only our county residents that live in that area, in that district, but they'll be able to support Corinne and the county residents that live in that area. They'll be able to support Tremont, Brigham City, and any of the other surrounding areas as far as responding to county fires as well as others in the district. So my proposal is, and my motion would be to propose, I would propose that we pass Box Elder Fire District Resolution 2307, transferring the title of these 2 building fire trucks that are currently in our name as a county. We transfer them to the Central Box Elder Fire District to continue to be used for the purposes of protecting the citizens of Box Elder County.
I'll second that.
Okay, and the reason we're going outside the policy is the plain fact of everything you just said.
It's the cost of the citizens.
Right.
Why re-incur cost and more cost of the taxpayers? This is a public safety issue. We've got to keep those fire trucks in use, and it really benefits the public overall as a taxpayer to not have us, the county, pick up 18, 20,000 in repairs to keep those trucks in service and have the district take care of it and spread that cost of fixing and repairing those vehicles by the district and those 4 entities in the district. That way, the county's not being unduly burdened with the repair of those vehicles, but we still get the benefit of having those fire vehicles in service and providing the necessary emergency services we need to the citizens of the county.
Okay. I've got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Scott, I think you're up.
All right. Okay, first one we have is called the Herd subdivision. This is at 9160 North, 6800 West. It's a 1-lot subdivision. It is 12.2 acres in size. This one was an agricultural subdivision originally, and they are converting it so they can build a home on it. It's been through the review process from all applicable departments and comes with recommendation of approval.
You guys got any questions?
The only question I'd have is, okay, so it's 12.2 acres. Are they going to convert it all to residential property? Or are they going to convert just the part we're going to put the house on and keep the remaining 10+ acres in Greenbelt?
No, so as far as Greenbelt goes, I can't even say for sure if it was in Greenbelt.
Right.
But they can maintain it in Greenbelt.
Right.
They just, I believe the way the assessor's office works is they take a ½ acre for residential and then the remainder stays in Greenbelt
If they choose to do that?
Correct.
And I don't think you were in the legislation when we actually passed this agricultural subdivision part of it, so we could do these quicker and easier, besides having to go through the entire process, so. Okay, any other questions? I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Herd subdivision, 1-lot subdivision.
Second.
You got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next up is the Rincon subdivision. This is a 2-lot subdivision. It's out on Iowa String, so it's located at 4320 North and 6800 West. The 2 lots, let's see, 2 acres and 1.9 acres in size. So they'll be kind of constructing a little private drive that goes down just the way those lots are originally shaped along Iowa String there, south of P&G.
Okay.
Anyway, it meets the zoning requirements. It's been through reviews from all applicable county departments, and they have recommended approval.
So are they getting their water from West Corinne?
So those 2 lots are on a well.
Oh, they're on wells.
Correct, and then they'll have a remainder parcel that is 0.6 acres, so just over a ½ acre, and that family member is waiting for a West Corinne water connection. So to be able to have a well and septic, you have to have at least 1.75 acres.
Oh, okay.
That's why you have the 2 and the 1.9, and then the last family member is just waiting.
Okay.
So
I'll make a motion to approve the Rincon subdivision, 2-lot subdivision.
Second.
We got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry, all in favor? Aye. Crescent Moon.
Let's see, Crescent Moon, that's the one I mentioned in the pre-meeting as far
Okay.
as we don't have the actual Mylar yet from the applicant surveyor. It has been through the review process with everyone approving it as far as county departments go. So we spoke with the applicant, and they said they're comfortable either way if you wanted to approve it, subject to us getting that and putting the signatures on it, or if you want to wait till next meeting, they're fine to wait till next meeting, so.
If you guys don't have a problem, if all we're waiting is for the Mylar, I'd just as soon do it now as wait, so.
Where's this at?
Crescent Moon, I've got that one on my. It is. So this one is 5785 west, 4000 north, so this is just northeast of Corinne. This one as well is converting what wasn't originally an agricultural subdivision parcel into a building lot. And
So-
it's one lot, it's 7.62 acres in size.
So basically, all they're doing is waiting for our signature, but the Mylar's just on its way and hasn't gotten here yet.
Yeah, there were some last minute revisions that we needed to have made on it, based on the title report review. And so their surveyor was making those revisions, but just,
But everything's okay.
So they're gonna bring it to you and you're gonna review it, make sure those revisions are correct?
correct.
And then we can sign it if you feel good enough about
Yeah,
having a.
there were just 3 notes that they had on the Mylar that needed to be removed. It was just an issue between title company and surveyor.
Oh.
The surveyor probably did more than he needed to do, and the title company needed to just take some stuff off the title report instead, so
Okay.
we got those things resolved.
I'll make a motion to approve the Crescent Moon subdivision.
Pending.
That's the
you
word,
go.
pending review by our planning commission,
Just planning staff.
planning staff, excuse me, pardon me.
I'll second it.
I got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor? Aye.
Okay, next one is the Little Mountain Lookout subdivision. This one is at 6581 north and 6800 west. So again, on Iowa String, this one's north of P&G. It is 6 acres in size. It is just a 1-lot subdivision, and it has been reviewed and recommended approval by all applicable county departments as well.
How big a lot did you say?
6 acres.
6 acres?
Yeah, I think the applicant has plans to split it into 3 lots eventually.
About 2 acres apiece.
They just had, 3 2-acre lots. They just only had water for 1 at this time, so.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Little Mountain Lookout subdivision.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Last one.
Last one is the Astle Ranch subdivision. This one's out on the way to Bear River City. So it is 4699 north, 3200 west. One lot as well. This one is 6.828 acres in size. So this one as well has been reviewed, meets the zoning requirements, and has come with the recommendation of approval from all applicable departments.
I'll make a motion to approve the Astle Ranch subdivision.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thanks, Scott.
Now or
Oh,
later?
yeah, I can sign them now.
You got stickies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that other one gets in here, just call it out sometime.
I just didn't know if you knew. Not everybody's gonna read that.
It's weird how it's never in the same spot.
Yeah, it was clear higher up.
My dog was barking.
Hey, Cody, I'm gonna let these other two go first. Because I think yours is gonna take a second. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. Is that okay, Jenica? Chase? I'm gonna let you guys go before Cody. That way, if you got something else to do, you can go. Okay?
Jenica just has to stick around either way.
Well, Jenica has to stick around either way, but.
I don't even listen to it anymore.
I haven't listened to the news in like 4 years. I just get stuff that's either sent to me in an email or I just, I got to the point where I couldn't sleep. I just,
What's the problem? You get somebody with a narrative and they keep talking about it even though it's not right. What's the problem?
I mean, yeah, because corn and everything could be up to 30%, but everything else is up to 50%.
Oh, yeah. Go buy fertilizer, go buy fuel.
If you can even get fertilizer anymore. Because those solar farms that are out there they were on hold because they couldn't get the parts from China.
They might be there for a long time.
Well, they said they got enough to finish, but I'm just going, it goes back to the Clinton free trade thing that he basically screwed America where all the companies bailed on America. So, thanks, Scott. Chase, you want to come up first? You got to tell me who you are and what you're doing.
Sorry, I'm just pulling up the other one.
And you better put that mic right next to you so Marta doesn't tell me she can't hear you. There you go.
Hello. Chase Stratton, Box Elder County Risk Manager. And we are just seeking approval for Section 19, the Occupational Safety and Health Policy. Big rewrites for this. You guys have a copy of this in front of you?
Well, it's on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just big rewrites for this. The first 3 sections stayed pretty much the same. And then the 4th section changed just a little bit. And then from 5 on, it's basically a whole new
Rewrite.
policy. The reason for this was because it hadn't been updated in quite a while, but some other policies that are more recent covered the same information. Jenica, I think it was back in March or April, did a rewrite of the workers' compensation policy. And that was really comprehensive, and it covered in way greater detail and way better the stuff that this policy also already had touched on. So under 19.5, I removed all of the mention of workers' compensation out of this since it's already referenced in that workers' compensation policy. And then everything from 19.5 on is either policy we wanted to get put in or things that were from a safety standpoint that were done or nearing completion. Just highlights being failure to report accidents and bypassing a safety device. These are for county employees that do these things. This came out of a risk management meeting. They wanted to get this in just so that moving forward, everybody understood what the expectation is. This will be communicated to the employees via our safety committee, which is something that we set up recently. That's 1910 is our safety committee. So just kind of the highlights of this: bypassing a safety device is a 1-day suspension. the reason why that's such a hard line stance is obviously the tragedy that occurred last year. We want to discourage people from bypassing safety devices, sitting on their seatbelts, stuff like that. And then failure to report accidents is something that I'm personally very passionate about. I want to widen the gap between people who come forward and do the right thing and people who try to be deceptive, obviously. And then safety training and education, that's being handled through the safety committee. Emergency response procedures, I've been working with Mark Millett on the mass notification systems. So we should be able to do fire drills, stuff like that. Pretty soon we'll have a way to communicate with the employees. I imagine that's going to roll out in the next 60 days. And then the safety committee, the biggest thing for this, we've put together a committee, an employee committee involving all of the high-risk departments. So I think I have 8 or 9 representatives from that committee. I have fire, landfill, fairgrounds, roads, patrol, transport, jail, and I think a general office representative as well to cover all that. But my plan for handing out trainings and stuff going forward will be through that safety committee. Some of you may or may not have seen already. This month we're doing a heat stress, heat awareness program. But that's a huge first step in establishing a safety culture, is getting this committee going. So that's pretty much the changes in a nutshell.
Thank you. I can almost hear a sigh of relief from Annie, Steve, and Jenica as you sit here and present. So thank you for all the good work you've been doing since we've got you on. We appreciate that. So do you need a motion for us to accept this? Is
Yeah,
that what
so
you want?
this
I
will
just
be-
don't see a number.
There's not.
We're just adding.
Okay,
It's a
Oh,
policy.
no, it's replacing section 19.
yeah.
Yeah, we're just making.
I'm not sure why it doesn't,
We don't
say
assign
that, but
it.
it's replacing 19 that was last approved February 16th, 2010. So,
It's only a couple of years.
yeah.
Okay.
Make a motion that we accept the changes to the Personnel Policy and Procedures Act as presented today.
Second?
Got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you. Janica. Have you got a? Okay.
Okay. Today I just have an Emeritus agreement. Our dental provider has merged with Emeritus and they fall now under their umbrella. So we just need to approve for you to have me sign the agreement for the rest of this year.
Okay. You guys got any questions? Okay, entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we allow Janica to sign the Emeritus Agreement 2356.
Second?
Got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cody. Jan, you gonna come up? You wanna come up? You- Okay.
Know what we're talking about.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Cody Elam Facilities Department.
Save $40,000.
We have our numbers back for the restroom. I don't know if Steve, do you want one, Steve? You want?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. So we have the numbers back for the restroom. You can see there, the bidders that we had in place. You can also see on those plans, the location of where it's gonna be at on the second page. It's a fairly large building. It's about, what was it? I can't even remember what it was, but it's pretty big. It's a large building that's gonna house a restroom, ticket booth, and the Lions Club. And so the low bidder was Landmark Companies, and their low bid, let me pull mine up, was 1.353392. Of course, you've had my emails before that. ARPA, this was approved 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, and they approved us for 775,000. And then we've expended so far of that budget $92,000. Of that is the majority of that is to Dominion Energy, because they won't let us hook any more gas on the fairground site. So we have to do a main from those condos over on the golf course side. We have to bring that over to where this is at, and then brings back all the way over to the vendor area, because that main on that side is too small. So we can't even upgrade the generator we have in there. We had to they wouldn't let us hook up to that, so we had to add that. So that was a part of this project. That's already been expended. It's already out. They're going to be doing that after the fair. So that improves. It needed that so we wouldn't have propane, and it was natural gas there. So that comes to the issue that we have is we're short. We're short approximately 680,000.
It's almost doubled.
Yeah, it's almost doubled. And of that, I do have 100,000 of a surety, and that's just to make sure if something. All my projects we've done, we've tried to keep 10 to 15% because of unknown, something that happens, some unknown thing that's there that we can refund. So we're short that right now. So we're just here to present that to you guys to let you know what you want us to do and how to move forward with it. Do you have any questions for me about it?
Well, like I said, we've already crossed out the sign, so that'll save 40 grand, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Is this a masonry then?
Yeah, it'll be
Masonry
just like the
building.
one on the other side, brick.
Will we save anything if we just went to steel?
I would have to go back to the drawing board and put it all back out to bid. I don't know if we would save anything. It's one of those things that it's
Well,
you
I
still
just-
got to do a footing concrete foundation. You got to do all these things. Steel's pretty high right now. The only thing that some of the labor, but still, we want these made out of those bricks because they last longer. They're easier to clean and you know.
How big's the building?
It's
100 and something, I can't remember.
it's like 60 by 1.
180,
I don't have my skin map.
180, I think, or 150.
It's a huge building. That's just for restrooms, or?
No, it's got the cook shack, ticket booths, and everything incorporated in it.
Yeah, we're moving 2 ticket booths and put it on this. So there's 2 ticket booths that are existing right now. We're going to put them together. So it's 170 by 25. It's 170 by 25. So we'll be tearing down the ticket booths that are underneath that oldest rodeo in America. Does it say oldest rodeo in Box Elder? It's that sign. And then the smaller one on the car needs to come over. That will be torn down. This will take both those. So this
Plus
building.
the bathrooms on the.
Yep. This building will take all of that. So there'll be one point of entrance on that side, just like there'll be one point of entrance on the other side.
So basically, everything that we've done there is now doubled, whether it's the fair, whether it's the truck poles, whether it's the rat rods, whether it's anything else, all the stuff is doubled there. The restrooms on the west side are horrific. Trying to keep them going for anything anymore is, when we became commissioners, there was only 12 restrooms on the entire complex. Between the,
They're pretty small on that one.
yeah,
I think the men's have 3 toilets.
Three.
and the women's have
Yep.
probably 5.
yes,
Yeah.
doubling.
She
almost.
brings in quite a bit of porta potties.
We have to bring in porta potties to be able to get safety standards.
They won't replace any of my porta potties. A lot of those I bring in are for the carnies.
So, I mean, I understand what this is gonna cost. What's the opportunity to get anything returned on that investment? Do we lease out when people pay to use this facility?
Yeah.
When they use the arena, are they paying? I mean, are we getting anything in return?
Well, that and plus our tourism has almost quadrupled in the last 10 years. So the tourism tax, where they come in and actually buy fuel, buy restaurants, stay in our hotels. So it's almost quadrupled in the last 10 years, so. It's increased ever since I got here.
Yeah, well, pardon me for being a business guy, but I mean, when I invest money, I've got to figure out a way that's going to come back and pay the bill. And that just, yeah, I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Like my questions as to how much they charge.
Yeah, I've been watching those,
use
yes.
it.
Mhm.
So
What did it
that's why
cost
I
you to
was
build the one on the
asking
east
those
side?
questions.
7.
Okay.
Back at inflation,
Right.
because we've doubled the size of the cook shack.
And one of the expenses too is we have to take a sewer line. We have to put in a new sewer line from this out to the main street, because what's there now is basically a lateral, a small one. So we have to put in a full-size 8-inch main with multiple manholes. So that's one of the biggest expenses too. So from this site all the way in, there's quite a bit of excavation work.
So I don't mean to compare, but we just talked to Dennis a few minutes ago, and we were kind of choking on $15,000 to do 3 miles of road, and now we're talking 680,000
Oh, yeah.
extra.
Except for, I think he said it was just 5 for doing that.
Darren said it's 5,000 per mile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's coming out of another budget. If you looked at, we passed a bill that's actually going to increase our transportation by almost 5 million this year. So, and if you want to send these guys what goes on in tourism, that's, when I started, the livestock auction didn't even make 700,000. Last year we did 2.2 million through that.
Yeah, but the county doesn't get any of that, right?
Oh, well, the county gets it all the way through, coming back through tax. So in emails from both mayors, Bott and Tremonton, the tax increase that month in just Tremonton and or in Brigham alone is 25%, just for that month of the fair. So
Oh, sales tax type thing.
sales tax, and it's the same thing. We did a compensation study probably 2 years after I was here, so that's 10 years ago, and they said that just the impact on Box Elder County alone from the fair back then was $14 million in that impact study for everything happens during that, at that time, so.
I'm happy to like analyze sales tax for you or tourism money where we're sitting at. Regardless, if you approve this, it's going to require a budget amendment where we'll have to have a
Right.
public input because we haven't budgeted this much to do the building this year. So depending on timing of when you would spend that full amount.
So the question is, you say you've got 775,000, and obviously the fair's next month, so you're not going to be doing this between now and next month. And after August, then you're into September and October. Is it feasible that they could get started with the funds you have and let us go through another budget series?
I would not pull the trigger on that until I've got affirmative from you guys, because I can't start a project knowing that I wouldn't be fully funded. But we could do that, absolutely. We could start that as long as you're I just don't want to dedicate these contractors to move forward if we're not going to finish this project. But yeah, that's absolutely a possibility. So.
And I still think we need to go back and talk to, I mean, I know we did this once before with our fair, but Nucor Building Systems came up with a new building that has been incredible for us out there. And I think that we're missing the boat by not talking to them first
That's what I
before we
was asking
bite
about,
the
a
bullet
metal
on this thing
building.
and say, they may have some design that we haven't even looked at. I realize it's a metal building, but the one building we have is phenomenal. So I think we need to go back before we pull the trigger on this and talk to some.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah.
We can absolutely do that. The only, you guys, the time frame with that, we may have to put it out to bid depending on where.
Yeah.
And if you're happy with that, by all means, this is, we haven't signed anything yet. This is clearly out to bid. we've got a lot of good drawings, and we can do that. We can proceed that way.
I can
I
just,
just don't think we have a budget to go that amount, that extra amount right
So
now.
what would happen with that is Nucor cannot design the building. I'd have to pay an engineer to design it, and then they would come in and say, we could build that like this. So I have to redesign it, and then I have to send that to well, technically, I'd have to put it back. I can't just hand it to Nucor. I'd put a metal building out to bid and allow Nucor to bid
that's
on
fine.
it. That's
Yeah.
so, and them being a local, they've done that with the other larger buildings.
because I know you say it's apples to apples, but I'll give you 10 to 1, we're probably 150 to 200,000 more with masonry.
Yeah, and that's something we'd have to look and see. The market is, the construction market right now is just
Crazy.
I'm just, like I said, I'm
But let's
curious
look at that,
with
yeah.
what building systems and what they're coming in with. They may already have a design, and all we have to do is go back and show it to an engineer. They may, because they do designs all over the country. They may have a design that actually fits for what we need.
Oh, yeah.
So that may be something that could save us some money. So I
No,
think we need to look there.
Anywhere we can save money, absolutely. I don't have a problem with that, Lee. That's
Yeah.
a
And
great
then I
idea.
also think, just like the last one, what Lee brought up is that, you know, they did a lot of stuff for us, and they didn't even want their name on the building, but I would like to have it go back out, because choking out double is pretty tough, even though the Lions Club, or whatever you want to call it, that cook shack, I mean, it got flooded out. It's in horrible shape. I'm not even sure that the Beaver Health Department will let people cook there anymore because of the plain fact of the gas lines and the bricks and the add-ons and the fridges and everything else is just not up to snuff lately, so.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd love to see it go out to,
So, I mean, step number one, what do? We go over and sit down in our office and talk to them about the possibilities before we take it to the next step, or what do you do?
Well, if I understand this right, I will go back to my engineers, and they will design the building as to be a metal building. It'll be a metal building, and then I'll have to put it back out to bid with these changes. I'll talk to them to make sure we're going the right. Everything will stay the same except for the outside, and we'll put it back out to bid as a metal, and then we'll see what those numbers come back at us. We simply can't say, Nucor, give us your best
right,
steel. I
I
gotta
understand.
Yeah, so it'll be a process. It'll take me a few weeks just to draw that back up again, because
Well, we weren't gonna pull the trigger till after anyway, so I
right.
don't think that's
So
a
that the
problem.
time frame is what that's we could do that.
So what's going to cost your engineer to do that?
It's gonna be we're under contract, so we just probably ask another $2,500 to $3,500.
So it's not like 25,000.
The heart of this. What costs us the most is already designed. The plumbing, the electrical. I mean, there's like 85 fixtures in here, and that took a lot of time because if it's not detailed out in the plans, they'll get us a change order. So that's what took. So, but yeah, it shouldn't be that much. But I can actually call them and, hey, redesign this, give me some numbers, and I can email you guys what that would be.
And then Charlene, if you'll get those budget numbers on the,
Once we know for sure.
well, I'm just saying, if you can get the,
I think I would prefer to do the budget this year, and then it can always roll into the next year if you, that way you know you have your budget. So, and I just wanted to mention, probably unrelated, is I know we've been very anti-debt, but sometimes bonding and planning ahead, construction costs might have been a lot less to do this as a whole project at once. Just as a thought for future projects and such, rather than spreading it over years and taking your chances on inflation and things like that. I mean, we couldn't have predicted what's happened over the last few years, but bonding's not necessarily an evil thing.
Right.
It can sometimes save you money if we would have done
yeah, but if we
a
go
big
back to
project.
where you're talking about and the plan that they did when, before I got here, it was
Well, and I
almost
don't
50
necessarily mean
million.
that plan,
Yeah.
but I think you could have planned it out and maybe done it all as one big project.
Right.
But we've been doing it as we go, and like you say, as a businessman, I just assume do it as we went with the money we have. And if we have money to do it, then we do it. If we don't have any money, we don't. But looking at it as a business that, you know, brings in things and actually makes money for the entire county, then you have to take a look at that. You might not be able to say, you know, I spent $2,500 to rent this out, but you've got to take a look and see what the whole picture is and how much that brings in.
Yeah.
So if you can send them the tourism numbers and everything and what's that's up, that'd be great.
I think this would be a good time right now. I would like an updated fee schedule for the buildings. I'm not necessarily I don't know what Jan with hers, but like when someone comes out here to do a food truck or rent this building out, I
Yeah.
think this would be a good time to update the fee
I
schedule.
know we went through that with, not only the school district, but from other, Jan put that together throughout the other counties.
I've compared what we charge with cash and Uber.
Right.
Well, I have told Charlene I have that, or Charlene I have that if she
Yeah.
wants it on request.
So we do
Also,
have that comparison.
Yeah, just because everything's gone up so much, I'm not, especially here, if someone wants to put a food truck here, they have to come to you guys. So just have something that we can fall back onto, and that will actually help her analyze it.
Yeah, it'll help us
for-
to understand too.
Yeah, for the auditors, the external auditors, we put a full fee schedule for the whole county together. So I have a framework if
Okay.
you're
I think we
interested
ought to
in
look at it.
seeing that
And I
as
think
well.
Yeah.
I can forward
she can
that.
plug
to
in
all of
those
you.
numbers.
That'd be
Mayor Holmgreen has a study on the
Right.
impact it does for.
I seen that email come through. That's when I was, and Brigham City, before Tyler left, had the same thing.
And it'd be different versus Peach Days versus the fair.
Right.
This is something, a day-to-day process that I'm looking after. You know, when someone puts a building permit in, I know exactly what that fee's gonna be. That's the fee.
Speaking of that, have you got your fee permit updated now that we were
did them
talking
last
about?
year.
Okay.
It's already done. Yep,
All right.
everything's in place.
Okay.
We've issued 260 permits this year.
With that new fee?
With that new fee.
Cool.
And with those new cities that have come online. So
Okay.
it's,
Impact fees are a big thing while we're impacting the county.
we don't have an impact fee yet,
Oh,
but
why?
might have an updated plan check fee, updated deposit. I've updated what I can. We talked to multiple times because the impact fee actually has to go out to bid. And that's more of, they got to crunch numbers and justify what that fee is. So sheriffs,
Right.
roads,
Right.
it's an asset that I've talked about.
Everything I've ever built, I've had an impact fee in
Well, and
every
we need to
city.
incorporate what we're paying for fire services, because
Same
like we
thing.
just talked about, we don't have a fire department, but we pay all these other
Yep.
fire departments, we give them money, so we need to make sure.
We can add that right to the permit fee. That's
it needs to be in there.
exactly,
Okay.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great if we could do that too. Okay, so I think it's saying we want to go take another
I will
bite at the apple with a
I'll go
bid.
back to my engineer. I'll have him redesign it as a metal pier
And then will you
construction.
let me know, and then you can
And then I'll
send it
get a
out.
time frame. Yep, and then
And
I'll
I can
get it
take
out.
it to the proper people and see what they'll do for us.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate
Felt like
it.
it was a good discussion.
Sorry for inflation. That's,
No,
but inflation's gone. Haven't you heard the news? Listen to the news. Inflation's not there anymore. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to go into RDA.
I'll make a motion to go into RDA.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Wait a second, we gotta switch things out here. Oh, there we go. New slideshow. There we go. Look at that. Okay. You ready?
I'm good.
Okay,
Okay.
we're good to go.
if you guys approve the minutes from May 30th, 2023, if you looked at those, there weren't many.
We have two dates, but
July,
we'll
sorry.
do them separate, right? Is it better?
No, you can do them both.
Together? Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes from both May 30th and July 5th.
I'll
RDA.
second it.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A little bit about this next item is that we actually had a really good call out in the Inland Port Board meeting this last week. They actually said that Box Elder County and Spanish Fork were so ahead of the curve, that's the reason that we'll probably be one of the first ones to actually land one of the inland ports. So, and that's the reason we had these things approved, is that we'd be above the curve, but then new people took over, and I guess we're told that they had to be able to get to be first to be able to get all this stuff done. So that's the reason that the switch about just taking these out of perspective, actual RDAs, and letting the inland port take care of it. So
Yeah.
they come up and go through the taxing entities, they do budget, they do everything to be able to get it done. So, and we've got a project right now with Lakeshore, going up above Lazy Boy. So, and they're taking part of that, and so that's the reason we're redoing these.
Okay, Annie, you have something to tell us?
So on this agenda item, this is to where the RDA is providing authorization basically to the commission to dissolve the existing Box Elder County Logistics Park Community Reinvestment Project area. So this area was never triggered as an RDA area. A budget was never officially adopted, so their taxing entities weren't impacted by this. They never signed off on an actual budget for this area. So this makes it a little bit easier for us to dissolve it. The creation of the Utah Inland Port Project area it does take up more than just this one small RDA one, but this was the only one where we had overlap. And so this resolution that you would be passing basically authorizes you as the commission in the next meeting to officially dissolve the area by
that
ordinance.
portion. Brigham City's already done theirs, Tremonton has done
What
theirs.
area is this?
and Garland.
This is at the northern end of the Corinne RDA area where they want to do the inland port area. It's a really small section of the inland, what the inland port wants to take in. It's the Bailey Farms is what it's called. It's
Yes.
just only that one little spot.
So I noticed when I was reviewing that, that it's taking in some private farm ground there as well. So they're designating that as part of the inland port. Have the property owners?
So the
wanted to-
property owners have the opportunity to participate in the inland port project areas. There are some benefits to them. They kind of, as the state establishes the project area once they decide where it's going to be, now that we've signed the resolution giving them that authority. There is a time frame where private landowners can go back and say, no, I don't want my personal property be included in the inland port project area. And they can have it actually removed, even if it's like one piece here and one piece there.
So, I mean, even though it's included in this that we're talking about today, then it still has to go through the proper procedures, like through the planning commission of the county?
It doesn't. With the inland port, once we passed that last resolution, we kind of gave them authority to establish what they think the inland port project area should be, and they are going ahead and moving forward with that. They came back to us just because there was overlap on the RDA, so they couldn't move forward with that piece of it because we already had called dibs on that area. So we're releasing that from the RDA project area so that they can pick it up. Once they haven't approved their final project area plan, I
Then
know
they
they
come
were
to us.
originally hoping to do that in August, if they can get all of this cleared up. I haven't had an update on that date. It seems like it would be a little bit delayed at this point because of those of us who had to release RDA areas for it. So they haven't established a final plan to show. But once they have the final plan, they take it back to the Inland Port Commission, who then, or board, I can't remember if it's a commissioner or board, who does the actual approval. And then there's a time frame after that that private landowners can object to having their property included in that area.
And most of the time you're talking to actually went towards them and said that they wanted to be a part of it. So, but they do have an option after it's over with to be able to take it out.
So the thing that kind of bothers me is that when we had that last meeting, when Ben was on the phone and we had that gentleman here, we talked to him and we said, hey, what about the people of Box Elder County? How are they going to be represented? And at that time, he said, we'll work with your planning commission and we'll do all of that. Now you're telling me we're
so
not?
on that part, I just remembered on that part, even though they're moving forward with this project area that they're going to choose the project area and approve it at the state level, it all still falls under our control of planning and zoning.
Yes.
So whatever's in our general plan and in our zoning plan,
And Tremont
they
and
have to
Garland.
meet that zoning, or they have to follow the same rules of requesting a zone change to be able to change the zone.
So it falls back
So
to
there
us.
is still some of that local control when it comes to zoning and what can go into that area. We mostly just lose the overall choosing which parts want to go in.
And the biggest thing that we don't have to do is go back in and talk to the taxing entities.
Yeah, they handle all of that moving forward.
And it's
And the
already done
county
in
does
statute.
lose, compared to an RDA, with the tax incentive where we would have gained a pretty good percentage, basically whatever it is that we tax on property, our percentage of the property tax. We do lose a little bit more of that because a big portion of that goes back to the inland port to
Actually.
support their processes to bring back in all these businesses and to build the growth. So in the end, it should catch up, and then the county starts to get more than what would have come through the RDA. There's kind of that beginning period where it has to build up to that point.
But the split isn't that much.
Yeah, there's more of a split because it adds the inland port to that.
So I apologize. I was trying to get back to this meeting and I missed it. But so the other question I had is, in the event that we pass this, are the private property owners notified?
What do you mean?
Are they notified? Do they know that they're
Oh, yeah.
in the boundaries of
Like I
this?
said, most of the people actually want to be in it.
So I'm pretty sure there's a couple there that I read that I would be surprised if they were. So the question is if there's a time frame that they
Yes.
have to act within, are they notified in that time frame?
You would hope so. The statute doesn't outline it super clearly on individual property owners once it moves forward. That's something we can follow up with the inland port on to
there's
be
no way
sure
they're
that there's
gonna-
a notification process.
There's no way
I
they're going
assume
to go
there
take
has to be
property from
because
somebody to be
they
a part of this.
No, but
because
I'm-
they give them that time frame to object and to remove their names. And it seems like there would have to be some assumed notification to allow that. So I can follow up with inland port and find out what the notification process is.
Yeah, you would think that if they're going to have a time frame, that there should be some kind of notification effort
Right.
to give
Yeah,
them
the statute isn't clear on how the notification occurs. So I can follow up and see how they're actually
But like I said,
handling
most
it.
of the people that are there, that are in it, have wanted to be in it because it triggers other things about being able
Right.
to be a part of that with monies, to be able to start creating what they
There's
need.
there's not a real impact to the property owner if they choose not to participate and it does get included. It's not like they're paying into something or anything like that. It does provide, based off of the statutes, a lot of opportunity, like Commissioner Summers is saying, where a big part of the inland port is like a loan program. And so, and grant program where these private, like if they were farmers, agriculture, they can go to the inland port and actually get grants and money to build infrastructure, to kind of build their property up to build the inland port, to be a part of it. And so there is some opportunity there for the private landowners. Everything is so new at this point. It's really hard to know exactly how it's going to play out into the future because no one's gotten there yet. But under the statute,
which concerns me.
yeah, we're kind of at the forefront, like Commissioner Summers said. But in the statute, it does allow for some benefits, to the whole area for these to share in the money that the inland port is bringing in these grant and loan programs. So we just don't know exactly how that's going to work out. But I can follow up on the notification and let you know what I find out.
So I'm really not paranoid. I know I sound like I'm paranoid,
It's
but
just
big
a no.
money is something that Box Elder County should be wary of, because big money can come in and change our whole culture, and that makes me a little nervous.
Well, and it's like taking the bite out of Procter and Gamble, and I don't know if you were around at that time, but these last two additions to that have been a complete nightmare to go through the process with the state and everything else. So this has kind of taken a little bit off of that to help. I mean, Sean has been great, Scott has been great, Patrick and Stuart have been great, but like you say, it's nothing that they want to come in and take over a culture. It's to be able to help, people like the ones we've discussed. They want to be able to do this. They don't want to drive 3.5 hours in the middle of Salt Lake and back. They want to be able to come to Box Elder County, drop their goods, and go back home. And that's kind of the reason that's even Salt Lake yesterday or 2 days ago. You should have seen how happy they were to hear that most of these trucks were going to be turned around at the border and not have to come into Salt Lake. They were ecstatic about the thoughts of some of this stuff happening. Walmart has 300 trucks a day, soon to be 400 and 500 trucks a day. Procter & Gamble's at like 150 and soon to be 300. But if we can, put it on rail and just the rail goes by and nobody notices the truck traffic, it's just going to be that much better. So
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity that they're hoping for and that they're suggesting will take place. But yeah, being at the very front of it, it is hard to know, and so it's not a bad thing to be, careful about it.
And-
So all this does is it removes it from the projected
ours.
area that we currently have that we haven't really been building up anyway. In the future, we actually could go back and recreate a new RDA area
If this doesn't
near
work.
that area, to take in if we needed to do some more economic development there. But
So you feel like that the people's property rights are protected?
as far as I can see, they still maintain
Come
all
on,
their
Andy,
property
yes
rights.
or no? Come on.
It depends. Is that the right answer, Alice, if you're an attorney? It looks to me like all the control for the private landowners still exists, along with the county zoning and planning, which is a really important part of it. The piece of it about who they bring in or what they bring in, and these areas that they're choosing them for a reason. So hopefully there's a good benefit there. There's some trust. There's some trust being given to the state to handle this.
Well, and some of
But
these,
they want it to succeed too.
some
and
of
to
these
be-
sites have already been taken care of, like the mega site in Corinne.
Yeah.
The church gave the county basically a free hand of a mega site that put them to the state for 600 acres if this stuff ever went through.
Yeah.
And the only reason they would do that was if it was a benefit to the community. And it's the same way with all the other things. I mean, some of the other ones are, somewhat pie in the sky, but looking at the future and what's happening with California, the exodus of California, they got to go someplace. And I don't want to be that place to where California tells you can't take a truck older than 92
No,
into that area. That's what I'm saying. I
20
don't,
years old, so.
yeah, I don't want to be able to,
The supply chain and transportation issues are really what have spurred a lot of this on. And in theory of what they're hoping, this should alleviate a lot of those supply chain issues, because even into the future, they'll be able to bring containers straight from the trucks and bypass, what's it called?
ports.
The port. And then they come here before they go through all of that process. So everything's not getting stacked up in one place and then delayed getting out to the rest of the country. So they have some really good ideals and really good objectives. And right now it's just hard to know which of those are going to come to fruition. But at this point, releasing the RDA, we haven't activated anything. We haven't made any effort. So this doesn't. And then I can check on the notification and I'll send an email and let you know what I find out.
Okay, thank you, I
See,
appreciate
well,
that.
just so you know as well, when I met with them, I told them they need to involve Scott in this process. They need to be talking to Scott Lyons from our county. Nothing against Sean from Bragg, but Sean worked for Bragg and not for the county. Scott works for the county, and I told them if they don't communicate with Scott, this will all fall apart on him. So for
and
anything to do
actually
with the
Sean
county.
works for us because we pay part of his wage, so he does still work for us, and if we don't, I mean, yeah, like I said, Scott's great, but his panelist is, and I know Scott's been on most of the meetings, so I just think we continually not push, but let this stuff organically grow. But somebody actually compared us, yesterday in that meeting, they call it the Golden Spike area. That's what it is. And somebody said, yeah, 150 years ago, you guys were the transportation hub of the West. And I said, now, honestly, if Utah's a transportation hub of the West, Box Elder County is the transportation hub of Utah for everything that goes through us. So that's kind of what they were comparing it to.
And
So,
Scott, they'll definitely work closely with Scott with all of anything that they bring in. Will have to go through our community development and
Yep.
the zoning and planning to get through. So
and like I said, they've already been working with Garland and Tremont on the one that's happening right now. So,
yeah.
okay. You got any other?
Sorry, Annie.
No, it's good. They're really good questions. It's important. You should be cautious because we just don't know exactly what will come from it. And they've got a lot of good, nice things in place, and we just.
But the
do our
representatives are the
careful.
ones that have done it. And I mean, that's a part of us being in the representative process, being part of things going on
And we can keep a
in
close eye on
January.
it as it moves
And if
forward.
we don't like it, we get a hold of Tom and, those people down at representatives and change the law, because they were the one that put the law in, and we're just taking advantage of what they've done, so. And they've been really good to work with. All of them have been, especially Ben and his new administration. Because like I said, the ones before were the ones that told us to do this. And now the new administration comes in and says, we can't really do that legally, so we have to take this off.
Yeah.
So, And the only one that's gonna affect is that one by P&G, just that little part. Everything else is already done, so.
Well, I apologize that the questions came because I missed a meeting. I apologize.
You're fine. So I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve RDA Resolution 2303.
I'm thinking about it.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, because if not, I can second it.
I'll second it.
Okay, I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye. Thanks, Annie.
Sure. Do you want me to stay for the next one?
Yeah, I want to go back into our regularly scheduled business meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn from RDA.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we are now back on our regularly scheduled business meeting. Since we're the boards. And then pass the ordinance on B.
That's it, right, yep, there we
And if I remember right, it's like 40 acres. How much is that being out of it?
Yeah, it wasn't huge. The Bailey Farms it was like 40 acres. The whole RDA was much bigger.
Yeah.
But they're only including that one little piece. So really, if you did an RDA in the future, there's that huge Corinne area that you could include again. Yeah.
So, anyways. Okay, I'd entertain a motion for ordinance 583. Down on B.
Okay. Yeah, I make a motion to adopt ordinance 583.
The dissolving the Box Elder County Logistics Park.
I'll second it.
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Annie. And now I'd entertain a motion to go into a closed session to talk about personnel and
Just personnel.
personnel.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session to talk about
Second.
personnel issues.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.